Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be making a video. Um, I saw that a lot of people liked my video, or a lot of people watched my video about, Scratch and how to make your Scratch game into an app on your iPad or your iPhone. So I decided to make another Scratch. This is not really a tutorial, but I'm going to put it in Scratch tutorials. It's more like an informational video. So this is all of the Scratch blocks and what they mean or what they do. Okay, so as you can see, I have a blank project, Scratch Cat right in the middle. Alright, so first off is going to be the move block, the move 10 steps block. So what that does is it basically takes the direction that your character is facing. So in this situation, Scratch Cat is facing 90 degrees, which you could consider forward. That's what I would consider forward. And then it moves it however many steps you put in there in that direction. So as you can see, one step, so each step it takes considers it as moving it once, like 1 pixel, or pixel. It's because the x-axis went from 10 to 11. So, that basically alters the position by however much you have it in here and moves in the direction that you're facing. Okay, next, turn 15 degrees. Okay, I'm sure you all know what turning is. It's like rotating. So this first turn block turns it clockwise, which means the same way as the clock hands go around a clock. So he will change by 15 degrees. So in this situation or scenario, the direction he'll be facing after I click this block will be at 105. As you can see, it changed to that, and he rotated clockwise. Alright, next block, same thing, but counterclockwise. So it's rotating the other direction. Alright, next block. This is a cool one. I like it sometimes. It basically picks a random X and a random Y and sends your sprite to that position. So I click it, and now it takes him to 197, negative 72. Click it again. Well, now he's at negative 70, negative 107. So it's definitely random. Alright, so the next block is go to X and Y position. So in this block, in the first box, you type the X position you want it to go to. So let's say 198. And then the Y position, 3. How about? And then once I click this block, it moves it to that position, as you can see. So now it's at 198, 3. You can also do that for negative. So if I were to type negative 198, negative 3, then once I click on it, he would go to the opposite side of the screen. And the opposite Y position too. Okay, next we have glide 1 second to random position. So in this box you can type how long it wants him to take. You want him to take to get to this random position. And this is kind of like go to random position, but it takes longer. Well, if you put a 0 in here, then it is go to random position. But say if I were to put a 9 in here, it would be gliding. As you can see, after he's done, it will be like that. one more time. As you can see, it takes him 9 seconds to get to his random location. Alright, next block we have is glide. Glide a certain amount of seconds to a position. Instead of random position, you get to pick that position though. So say if I do 9 seconds again, and I'm just going to put 100, 0. Oh, click it. So then he glides to that position. And there you go. Alright, next up is point in direction block. This basically allows you to change the direction he's facing, but instead of rotating him, you're just making him go there instantly. So you're not adding or subtracting to his position. You're moving him. You can move this if you want, or you can just type a position. I'm going to say 180, and then I'm going to click on him. And as you can see, he's facing down in this case, which is 180 degrees. He's pointing in that direction. So I'm going to reset him back to 90 quick. Excuse me. And then let's move on. Alright, point towards mouse pointer or anything else. This basically allows him to point there. This will make it better if I put it in a forever. Point towards something. So if I click this, then he will keep looking at my mouse. Now if I make a new sprite, Andy, then right here I can move this to Andy. And as you can see, he looks at Andy. And he looks at Andy again. And he continues to look at Andy. Alright, I'm going to delete Andy. Alright, moving on. Next block, change X by. In this scenario, it will add the number you put in here to your X position and send you to that X position. If I put a negative number, it'll subtract the absolute value of that number from your X position. So if I put a negative 10, then it will subtract 10 from my X position. And you'll see it says negative 10. But if I just simply say 10, click it again, it'll take you to 10. So that's that block. Alright, next, set X to 2. This one is similar, but instead of changing your X by a certain amount, it just sets it to a certain amount. If I want him, this time, if I want him to go to negative 10, I can do that. And then if I want him to go to 10, I can do that. It'll basically be the same thing though. Same thing, but you're not adding or subtracting, you're simply just saying go here. This same block as the X one, but instead it changes your Y position. So I can change it by 10, and I can change it by negative 10. Alright, set Y2, same thing as the X one, but except this sets the Y position to a certain thing. So if you want to go to 10, you can just say that. If you want to go to negative 10, you can just say that. Alright, we're almost done with the motion section. Okay, if on edge bounce. So for this, I might have to make a little bit of a demonstration. I'm going to put a forever, move 10 steps. We haven't really gone over forevers yet, but we will in a minute, or once we get there. So we also haven't went over green flag clicked, but we will in a minute. Alright, so if on edge bounce, so in this scenario, the forever block basically just makes it repeatedly do it until it's told, until something makes it stop, if something makes it stop. So in this scenario, the scratch cat will continuously move forward, and this will say if it is on the edge bounce, so it'll make it change direction. Watch. This is essentially how it works. If we want a bit more random though, like we already went over, we can point in direction 30, and then it'll be more random. So that's how that works. So essentially, if on edge, just basically the if on edge bounce just basically makes him change direction when he is on the edge. Okay. Next we have exposition. This is essentially just like a variable. A variable is something that holds a number, or it holds a variable is something that represents a number or a letter or multiple numbers or multiple letters, something like that. So in the exposition, just basically hold your exposition. So when you put like, if you said like exposition plus 1, then it would be like, okay, your exposition is 0. So 0 plus 1 is 1. And then you could say like, change x by. Oh yeah, that would be smart. You could do change x by exposition, which would basically like double your exposition. So say you were at your x was 1. He continuously, gradually, just, keeps growing by more until he finally hits the edge. Okay, same thing for y position. You just hold your y position, not your x position. Direction, same thing. It just holds your direction, not your x or y position. Alright. Next up is looks. Say hello for 2 seconds. This basically makes a speech bubble pop up above your head, and you could send it to however many seconds you want. So see, he said hello for 2 seconds. Say hello is the same thing, but he said it forever, or until something makes him stop. Think, same thing, but makes a think bubble pop up for however many seconds you want. Think, the other think block, same thing, but you do it forever. You think forever with the think bubble above your head. Alright, switch costume to costume 2. So right now, Scratch Cat has 2 costumes. That's like, it's like 2 different characters, but it's in one character. So the character can look at like 2 different things at once with 2 costumes. So if I want him to look like the other one, I can do that. If I want him to look like the first one, I can do that. Make him stop. Make him stop. Okay, next costume. Essentially, these are in order. They're numbered in the top left corner, 1 to 2, and so on. So then it can basically, essentially, make him go to the next one in the order that they are numbered. So in this situation, I just keep pressing this, doing this. But yeah, I didn't mention, if it's on the last costume, then you click next costume, it just goes back to the first one. Okay, so switch backdrop to backdrop 1. If you can click on the backdrop right here, and you can look at your backdrops. Right now I only have 1. Excuse me. Let's say I made another one. Then if you click this costume, why not? Yeah, if you backdrop 2, backdrop 1, yeah, just like that. Next backdrop, same thing as the next costume, but it switches between backdrops, but it goes to the next backdrop instead of the next costume. Change size by. So if you can see right here, size right here, it's in percent, but it doesn't have a percent sign. So right now he's at 100%, his regular size. If I change size by 10, he's a bit bigger than regular. If I change size by -10, if I change size by 10, he grows. If I change size by -10, he shrinks. Essentially. So here you can see the percent sign. This is set size to this. Say I want him to be a bit big, I can set it to 100% or 125%. Maybe I want him to be small, I could set him to 75%. Or just regular size would be 100%. Right? Change color effect by 25. Color effect. It affects the color. So as you can see, he continues to get a lot different. He's never going to be orange again. Or is he? Yeah, okay, so that's what that does. Set color effect is to whatever you want. You can set it to 25. Or you can just simply set it to 0 is basically like regular. Or you could set it to -100 if you wanted. But I'm just going to keep that 0. Alright. Clear graphic effects. So basically like I forgot to tell you, this block can do multiple things. So like you can change fisheye, brightness, so say my scratch cat looks like this, and I want to just make him normal again. I can just simply click this button, and he'll be normal again. Show essentially makes him visible, so you can see him. Hide, same thing, but opposite. Makes him invisible. So if he's hidden like that, you can just click show, and then he'll be visible again. Go to front layer, or back layer. So right now, I'm going to change the backdrop to the other backdrop. And as you can see, the backdrop is going to be behind him. But if I say go to back layer, and if I tell the backdrop to oh, wait. Okay, you can't do that. You can't make the backdrop go in front of the character. But if I have Abby say, as you can see, where is she? Alright, what if I don't want the scratch cat to cover her? Well, I can just click this, go to back layer, and he'll be behind her. But if I click go to front layer, he'll be in front of her. Simple as that. Alright, moving on. Looks. Alright, go forward 1 layers. So let me get Abby back quickly. Just to note, you can also go backwards. Let's say Abby is in front of him, and I don't want her to be in front of him. So I can say move up 1 layer. Or I could move forward 1 layer, or I could say move backward 1 layer, and then he would be behind her again. But then I said move forward 100 layers. Of course, he would be in the forward. But if I said move backward 1, he would be behind her again. So right now there's only 3 layers. The backdrop is always on the back layer. So yeah. Costume number. This can basically tell you what number your costume is in the order. You could switch it to costume name, and it could tell you what the name of the costume you are on is. Backdrop number or backdrop name. Same thing. It can either tell you what number and order your backdrop is that you're on, or what the name of it is. Alright. And size. If you click on it, it says 100. It's just taking the size and telling you it. That's it. Play sound meow until done. Meow is just the example. So if you can listen to this. That's loud. Anyway. It'll play that sound until done. So if you have another sound you want to use, you can also use that. Like, I'm gonna get an A bass. Then I can change this to A bass. And then it'll play it. And then you can start sound. Is pretty much the same thing as this, except other things can stop it. So if you click So see, whenever you're doing that, you can just click stop all sounds and it'll stop everything. So that's stop all sounds. Change pitch effect by 10. If you're playing that, then if you click this, it'll be a higher pitch. Pan not entirely sure what that does, but oh. So right now, if I have AirPods in right now, if I take my right AirPod out and I click this sound, I can hear it on my left AirPod. But if I click this a bunch of times and then I take my right AirPod out, I can only hear it out of my right AirPod, so I can't really hear the sound, besides the bit that comes out of my right AirPod. So that's what that does. Oh, and then also if you do like -10, you keep doing that. Then if I take my left AirPod out, you can only hear it through your left AirPod. So that's how that works. And then I'm going to. Okay, so set pitch effect to this. Holy. Okay, so if you set it to 100, that's really high. You can probably tell. Maybe. So if you set it to 0, this is basically just like setting it to a certain number, then it's regular. Alright, so okay, clear sound effects. This is what I've been using. It basically just sets these change pitch effect, set pitch effect to. It just changes them all. It changes the pitch effect or the pan left or right effect to 0. Alright, change volume. I'm sure you know what that does. It just changes the volume. So if I do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and I start the sound, I can't hear it. But if I do 1, 2, 3, it's quiet. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, excuse me, then it's regular sound. That's what that is. Set volume to 100%, 0%, just changes the volume to whatever number you want. Volume, this variable shows you what your volume is. Alright, moving on to events. Oh, I didn't even realize we moved on to sound from looks. Never mind. Alright, so events. When green flag clicked, this is basically like a block that triggers any other block, the first block under it, when you click this green flag button on the top left of your project. When space key pressed, or when any key you want pressed, you can just say like, let's go back to this sound part again. I can do that. And then I am going to click the spacebar. And it plays the sound. When this sprite clicked, I'm going to go sound to get the meow sound. And then whenever I click the sprite, that's what that does. It plays this sound because it says play sound meow until done. Alright. when backdrop switches to backdrop 1, it's basically like, okay, I'm gonna go back and get the play meow sound until done again, and then I'm gonna get a where is it? Switch backdrop to backdrop 1. And then, so what this does is it's like whenever you switch the backdrop to backdrop 1, or whenever it gets switched to that, then, or whatever you have here, then it will play the sound. Like that. Alright, when loudness is greater than 10. This is gonna get pretty annoying here. So it's like whenever you start talking and it senses that you're louder than whatever you put in there, then it'll do whatever is under there. Whoop. Like that. That gets pretty annoying. When I receive message 1, I'm probably going to have to talk about all of this stuff together. Well, besides the last one. So I could say, I could go up and get a when green flag clicked, broadcast message 1. And this is like it's like emailing, and they receive the email right away and do whatever you want them to do. So then I can say play sound meow until done, and then it'll, yeah, like that. So, and then this broadcast message 1 and wait is the same thing, but after it broadcasts message 1, it will wait for something to happen. Control. Wait 1 second. You pretty much know what that means. It just basically means it'll wait 1 second before it goes on to the next action. Repeat 10 times, or however many times you want, and this is also however many seconds you want. You can just put a number in here, and then it'll do something that amount of times. Whatever you want. Like, let's say I want to play meow for 10 times. Then it'll do that. Forever. I've kind of already used this. Forever just basically means like, I've kind of already explained this, but like, if you want to put something in there, it'll just keep repeating it. It's like the repeat 10 times block, except it never stops until something says like stop. Until, I'll talk about it later, because it'll be in later in the video. Or, you know, I might as well talk about it now. So, the forever block will keep doing something until like something says like stop. But some script makes everything stop all, or stop other scripts in the sprite. So like stop, which would stop the forever loop if it was in that sprite. So this just basically does like, you could stop this script so the script is over. You could stop other scripts in the sprite so that script continues but every other script stops. Or you could just stop the game. Stop the project completely. Alright. If then block. So, if then block is one of the most important things in Scratch. And it basically does, you put something in here and then it checks if that's happening or like that. We haven't really used the equals yet, but I'm going to use it. So like, I'm going to say if, we talked about loudness though, or volume. If volume is equal to 100, then play sound meow until done. So then when I click this, volume is equal to 100, so it plays sound until done. Alright. This same thing, it checks if the condition is met, but this time, if it's not true, if the condition is not true or it didn't meet the condition, then you can put something down here and it'll do that if it's not true. Wait until something happens is basically like, so it's like the wait 1 second block, except it waits until a certain thing happens instead of just waiting 1 second. Repeat until basically means it's a mix. It's kind of in between forever and repeat this many times. So it doesn't go on forever. Well, it could. It's not a certain amount of times that you type. It's just like whenever whatever you put in actually happens, then it will stop doing that. But until then, it'll just keep doing that. We already talked about the stop block. Alright, when I start as a clone, we should probably talk about this first. Create clone of myself. So whenever you want a identical character to yours to be made, you can just say create clone of myself and drag yourself out of the way. And as you see this, so then when I start as a clone, basically, is like when green flag clicked, but it's like when I start to exist for the clone. So when the clone is first made, then you would take this block and delete this clone. See, watch. It wouldn't make a clone because okay. Yeah, if you click stop all, then it'll delete the clone. So if I did this, it would just make the clone disappear instantly. If I got rid of this, however, it would make a bunch of duplicates. So that's the clone part. Alright, moving on to sensing. Alright, sensing. Touching mouse pointer. So, pretty much like all of this stuff can just go in an if-then statement. So we're going to get an if-then statement out. So, touching mouse pointer is like, it's asking if the sprite is touching your mouse pointer, so that I can put play sound, start sound meow. So then, wait, but then I don't need to put that in a forever loop. And I would put that when green flag, wait, no, we don't need when green flag clicked. But most of the time in your project, you want to use when green flag clicked, but right now this is just an example. Alright, so then I would say it would just keep checking. But then when my mouse pointer is gone, it'll stop playing that, but when it's on there again, it'll start playing it again. Alright. You can also change this to like edge too, if you want to do that. Touching color, it's much easier if you click this and you like look for the color and select it. But it asks if you're touching that color, then do this. And it's not touching that color right now though, so it won't work. This one is kind of interesting. So it's saying if something that is this color touches this color, then do something. So won't do anything right now though. Distance to mouse pointer. So this is one of those like variables again, built-in variables. So I'm gonna make up a little script. wait 1 second, and then say distance mouse pointer. Or wait 3 seconds. 67 and 800ths. So that's how that works. Alright, moving on to ask. When you ask a question, so it'll say what you type in there, and then you're supposed to answer it. So this also goes along with answer. So say I type hi, then if I click on answer, it'll say hi, because I answered answer. Now there's no answer though. Hi. Answer. And when you click the green flag again, it just resets it though. Key pressed is just like saying, if you're checking if key is pressed, then do it. So like I'm gonna press the key. If I hold down the key, it'll also keep doing it. It gets pretty annoying. Mouse down is basically saying like you see how my cursor's over here? That's what mouse down means. Like you're like this. It'll stop as soon as you stop doing that. Excuse me, but it'll keep doing that, and you know. All right. Okay. Mouse X is just a variable that holds the X of your mouse. Right now my mouse is at the very edge of the screen. It thinks anyway. So I'm going to do another one of those things I did earlier. I'm going to say wait, I'm going to do 2 seconds this time. So right now I'm at -92. Now I'm at 179. So just alright, same thing for mouse Y, except it says where your mouse is located on the Y. Works like a charm. Set drag mode to draggable or undraggable or not draggable. This basically means, so if I set drag mode to draggable and I go into full screen, then it'll let me drag him. But if I set it to not draggable and I go into full screen, I can't drag him. Whatever I do, I just can't drag him. Of course, now I can drag him. That I'm not in full screen, but it's because I'm in the editor. Loudness. This holds the variable your loudness. So remember up here when we said when loudness is greater than 10, it checks if this is greater than 10. Timer. From when you click the green flag to when the project is stopped. It keeps updating, and it tells you the seconds and thousandths of a second. Pretty precise. Yeah, so if I go to stop all, it's still counting. Oh, okay, this counts until you click the green flag again, so see, then it just resets. Okay. Or if you don't want to wait that long, you can just click reset timer and it'll, start over. The backtrack number of stage. Wait, hold on. Yeah, so this is stage right here. Or you could say the volume of stage. Backdrop name of stage, backdrop number of stage, my variable of stage. Yeah. This is the stage, like the background. And then you can check a bunch of these things like what number is the backdrop? What's the name of the backdrop? What's the volume of the stage? Or what value does my variable hold the stage? Whenever you start a Scratch project in the variable section, it makes a variable for you. Alright, current year. Yeah, if you put current. I didn't even know that block exists. It's great that I'm making this video. Current second. I clicked that button exactly when it was the start of the minute. That's insane. Current hour. Current day of the week. Not bad. Wait. It's Friday. Yeah, I think it's considering Sunday the start of the week. Month. Okay, date. Yeah, it's December 16th. Yeah. 2022. Yeah, this is accurate. Days since 2000. That's a lot. 8,385 and over a half. Okay, I didn't know that exists either. Username. If you're logged in. Then, as you can see, my name is See Ya Later. So, it's right. See you later. Alright. This is where we get down to the operators, finally. Plus, you can add two things. Minus, you can subtract one thing from another. Multiplication, you can multiply two things. Division, you can divide one thing from another thing. Well, wait. Yeah, you can divide a number by a number, let's just say. Pick random, you can pick a random in between numbers of your choosing. You can check if something's greater than something else, something's less than something else, something's equal to something else. If you're like saying, you can say like if this is true and this is true with the and block, or you could say if this is true or this is true. You just drag that in and then drag something else into the other sides. Or you could say if this is not true with the not block. So if you wanted to put two things like together but not add them, you wouldn't use the adding thing. You would use this. So if you wanted, let's just give that as an example. If you wanted to join apple space and banana, it would be apple banana. Then you could say like letter 1 of a variable or letter 1 of apple, and it would say A, or 2 P, or 3 P, or 4 P, or 5 E. Oh, did I say P? I meant L. Okay, you could say length of apple and it would tell you 5. You could say, you can ask if apple contains A. You would say true, but what if apple contains B? Does apple contain B? Oops. It would say no, false. C, false. D, false. But then E would say true. So yeah, it just keeps going. Mod. Now I had to look this up on Scratch Wiki because I had no idea what it meant. But essentially it means it takes the first number divided by the second number, and then it tells you the remainder. So if I say 1 divided by 2, it would say the remainder is 1 because 2 can't go into 1. 2 times 0 is 0, and then you get the remainder 1. So that's what the mod block is. Round, that's just like rounding a number, of course. So if you do 5.4, 5, it rounds to the nearest whole number. And then but 5.5, 6. So you know the rule, 5 or greater, then you round up. Okay, this has a lot. Okay, let's start with absolute. Yeah, so abs stands for absolute. And absolute value of a number is like the positive version of a number. So if I said negative 10, it would say 10. If I said 10, it would say 10. Okay, floor. Floor of a number. This is rounding, but it's rounding down all the time. So like if I said 5.9, it doesn't matter that it's that close to 6. It would just say 5. But then the ceiling of the number, it doesn't matter if I say 5.1, it always says 6. No matter 5 point whatever I say, it's 6. Even if I say 5.0000000000001, it will still say 6. Okay. Oh. I'm not quite sure, so I will be right back. Alright, so SQRT stands for square root, so it will give you the square root of a number. Say I put 10, 3 point, what it says. But if I put 2, give you. So, there are a lot of things for every one of these, but I'm not going to waste any more of your time. So if you want to read up on all of these things, I will put the link in the description. Okay, we've made it to the final thing. Well, the final two things, or the final two things. So variables. I've kind of talked to you about variables. A variable stores a number, so if I set my variable to 10, then this would say 10. You can change my variable by 1 or whatever number you want, so that'll just change it by 1. This will just set it to the number you want, and then you can show it on the screen like that. Also, if you right click on it, you can click normal readout, large readout, slider readout. And you can also change the slider range to like 0 to 100 or whatever you want. I'm just going to keep it at normal readout though. And then hide, of course, you can just get rid of it off the screen. Alright, and then, see, click this to make a variable. A list, that's, it can hold a bunch, think of it as a list of variables. It holds variables on it, but you don't have to name the variables. Car, how about? So this is car. You can add thing to car, you can add 0 to car. It'll just hold it for you. You can say delete the first thing of car. Do that again to it's all gone. You could, if I have, you can say delete all of car. Insert thing at 1 of car. But then if I want to put 0, or maybe I could put that at 5. I could put 0 at 5, like that. Okay. Alright, replace item 1 of car with thing. So say I have 0 at the beginning of it, then I could do this, and it would replace it with thing. Item 1 of car, it could so if I added thing to car, you could click this, and or you could check if then, if it equals something, and right now it's just thing. So then if I had thing, but then I added 0, but then I added thing again. If you clicked on this, it can't tell you all of them, so if you wanted to know which place it says thing in it, it would just look for the first one, and that would, at this point it would be 1. Length of car. You could just, I have 10 things here, and it would say 10. Show it, hide it. So show the list and hide the list. Alright, and last but not least, blocks. So also lists and variables are all just listed as variables. So a block is first of all, you can name it. It's kind of like a broadcast message, sort of. You could run it without screen refresh, add an input. You could say 0. You can add an input boolean. I don't know what boolean means. Oh, I think it means you can put something in there. You can put a variable in there maybe. And you can add a label to it. You can label it. Run without screen refresh basically makes it run so quickly you can't even see it run. So look, so you can, this little boolean label that we put, you can drag things into it. Wait, no, you can't. I don't know what it is. This is oh, wait. Oh, it's like a variable kind of. So you can basically drag it somewhere, check if it's greater than something or something. Oh yeah, and then this is okay, I just figured out what boolean means. It means It's this kind of thing. So you can put it in if-then things. But then this is just like a variable that you would have to put actually in things to make it go in if-then things. So, alright. And then, like I said, when without screen refresh, it's like it runs like super fast. So, like the screen doesn't have to refresh at all. It just runs in one single frame. I'm pretty sure. And so then a block, if you want like block. Okay. Alright, so I'll drag this in here. And then when it happens, I'm going to say, play the sound again. So that's essentially everything in all the blocks in Scratch. So there. If I missed any, please let me know. And like I said, I will link the link to look at all the rest of these in the description below. I really hope you enjoyed. And I'll see you guys next time. Alright. Bye, guys.